Jenn Epping, and I just celebrated my 10th year teaching secondary English education at a high school level. I taught sophomores last year, and I gotta tell you, the students love to read. I know many of you might be doubting me, but hold on, because I asked them the last week of school, hey, what are you guys gonna read this summer? And if you have no idea, let me help you go on this reading adventure. And so I've compiled a list of 10 books according to the 4 different genres, interest areas that my sophomores asked for. So there's 4 of them. Festival themes, so the summer vibe, right? Young love stories, gotta love love, right? Mysteries, and then all of the boys and a couple girls were like sports. If it's not sports, I'm not reading it. I was like, challenge accepted. So I've compiled some books in each of those categories and selected a few to recommend for you guys. So the first one deals with that summer festival adventure kind of thing. And I'm going to show you this book, which is my first recommendation, Rise to the Sun by Leah Johnson. And if you take a look at it, my kids have loved this book. It's been taken home a few times, got into backpacks, thrown in the back of the car, and it's really fun. This is about 2 best friends who go on to a summer festival before they both go off to college, and they sworn no boyfriends, no girlfriends, no any of that love stuff. And so they go to this festival, and the main character meets this girl, and maybe that didn't work out for their friends. So kind of looking at that fun festival atmosphere. The kids love it. I loved it. That's a great one for that one. The second one is this adventure called Melt With You. It's by Jennifer Duggan. She has a ton of really good ones, and I just read this one myself. And so when they said, I want that summer adventure, I'm like, Melt With You. So good. It's about these 2 teenage girls just went off to college. They came back for their freshman year summer, and they're working at their mom's ice cream truck. So 2 best friend moms came together with business, and they're working the summer there, except that their friendship crossed lines into romance at the end of last year, and they haven't really talked about it. So it's kind of this, you ditched me, but I was vulnerable with you, and we used to be best friends, and now we have to spend the whole summer together kind of thing. It's really good. Subject deals with young love, and if you've ever taught Romeo and Juliet to a class of freshmen, you know that they are hooked, even if it's old William Shakespeare, because young love is spontaneous and dangerous and can be toxic if you've ever read Romeo and Juliet, but also fun and carefree and sweet. So I recommended these 3 books, and one of them requires 0 explanation because it's The Summer I Turned Pretty series by Jenny Han. They are a Netflix TV show. Season 1, book 1 has been out. Season 2 comes out in the middle of July, and I'm personally so excited about it. The books are great. I listened to them on audiobook, and so literally I don't know how you wouldn't have heard about this already. The second one is a new release by Hayley Kiyoko. She is a pop singer, a queer pop singer, and she just wrote a book called Girls Like Girls. And literally that's what you need to know about what it's about. Girls like girls. So super popular, bestseller list. Can't wait to read it myself, but a few of my students who have read it have been excited about it. Lastly, The Summer of Broken Rules by K.L. Walther. And it's kind of like summer family reunion, but also family wedding, and on this beautiful land in Martha's Vineyard. And there's some love between the main character, who had just broken off a long-term relationship and has sworn off any other relationships for now. And then, of course, she gets buddied up with this challenge her family always does with this very cute groomsman, and literally have nothing else to tell you because we can assume that young love buds to everybody. So the third section for recommending books for summer reads to teens deals with mystery or suspense books. And teens need to be entertained. Let's be honest, we all know that. If we're not like jumping up in front of them, they're, on their phones or bored. So suspense, mystery doesn't shock me at all. Liar's Beach by Kaylee Cuoco deals with mystery, murder. There's a summer pool party that ends with like an unconscious person in the pool, and one of the people, the main character, has just staying there with a bunch of friends, and he kind of like gets the feeling that something is just off with the place and the people. After this happens, he kind of like knows it, and so it is kind of unraveling like what's really going on. Is this place kind of weird? It's got mystery, suspense. What's going on? The Agathas by Kathleen Glasgow and Liz Lawson. I am a forever fan of Kathleen Glasgow, and she's teamed up with Liz Lawson with the Agatha Christie mysteries. This one is just, it's fun. It's suspenseful because something happens in their community, and she starts to investigate a death of somebody that she doesn't think was convicted correctly, and she gets herself into some kind of intense situations, but also has like a unique friendship with the other main character who is kind of a goody two-shoes and just kind of a rebel, and they kind of come together to try and solve this investigation that they think wasn't solved correctly in the first place. Last mystery suspense book I'll recommend is Stars and Smoke by Marie Lu. She is an author I automatically read, and she's done a really great job in the past of fantasy, sci-fi, dystopian fiction. And so this new one centers around a pop star named Winter who goes undercover for this agency, kind of like the CIA, things like that, and to try and bust a notorious criminal across seas because his daughter wants Winter at her birthday party. And so this agency recruits him and says, hey, we've been trying to get this guy for a long time, and we can't because he's just too good at hiding his stuff. But we know he's into some intense trafficking, so we need to, we'll go with you, we'll get you a bodyguard and all of this stuff. And so he goes to the birthday party, and as you can assume, things don't go just a pretty little birthday party when they're trying to bust a notorious criminal. So it's pretty good. The last section is the sports-related books. All the guys were like, I'm not reading unless it's about sports. And I was like, fine. Mission accepted. So I went and I looked at some, and I also went to some of my trusty authors that I love. Ghost by Jason Reynolds. I love Jason Reynolds. Also, just read all of his books. They're great. The kids love them. Love it. A+. And it's book 1 of a 4-book series about track. And so they're shorter books, and they kind of follow a character. And so the 4-book series is about 4 different characters and their adventure in kind of overcoming struggles and showing their fortitude through track. The last sports-related book is called Mexican White Boy by Matt De La Pena, and it deals with baseball. This kid is a Mexican-American, half Mexican, half white, and his identity deals with a bunch of stereotypes that his school in Southern California near San Diego puts on him. And the thing about it is he's like the best pitcher. I mean, it says that he can pitch up to 95 miles an hour, but he's not on a baseball team because of the different stereotypes that he endures and the things that people believe that he is when he isn't. And so the school doesn't expect much from him based on their wrongly accused stereotypes. And so he kind of has this story of finding himself and his passion and overcoming those stereotypes. And the cover art is really cool. So whether you have a young teen excited about young love, or has a passion for baseball, summer sports, plays football in the fall, or just somebody that wants to be entertained and go through an Agatha Christie-like mystery. There's something for everybody. And I am going to make my way through the ones that I haven't read, but were recommended by my students. And I think we could all be better humans and better teachers for just not assuming that kids don't read. They read. You just need to put the right books in front of them. And what I have learned in the last 10 years of teaching is if you know your students individually and not just about how they function in English class, then you know their interests, what they're involved in, their friends, their silliness, their quirks, their passions. You really can kind of target them and say, hey, this book, you'll love it. You'll identify with it, or it'll get into your niche and say, this is awesome. I want to read something else like this. So we got to be careful. We got to make sure that we aren't assuming that kids don't read, especially over the summer, because a lot of my students have read all year and have planned on reading all summer. So cool. I'll catch you next time. See ya.